Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. So I am in my studio. If you followed me for the last couple weeks, you know that I have gotten moved in here, slowly getting things acclimated, but there is a lot of noise going on in the other room. They're putting in a window in the downstairs bedrooms, and last week when they started into that, they discovered some damaged boards. So there's a contractor here doing some work out there and I can hear him pounding, but I've got to get the video in, so we're going to go ahead and work through it. Today I am going to share Scrappy Americana and also the 250th anniversary quilt that my Quilt Circle membership is working on. If you have not heard, Quilt Circle will be opening up after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will be open to new members. I only do this a couple times a year just to get new members in and acclimated to the group, and then it becomes a very cohesive and interactive group, and so I don't like to interrupt that with new members in and out all the time, but just a couple times a year we allow new members to come in and then to get used to us and to get used to the way things work. This is a paid membership. It is monthly or yearly options, either way you want to do that. And tonight is our monthly meeting. So the first Tuesday of every month. I'm filming this a day early, obviously, because I need to do some editing. So I usually film earlier in the week and then I put it out on Wednesday. So today is Tuesday, so tonight is our monthly meeting. The first Tuesday of each month, Quilt Circle gets together on Zoom for a monthly meeting, and tonight we're talking about color theory. We're working through a book, and I didn't bring that in here with me, but we've been working through that each month, and this month was about building your fabric stash. Who doesn't love a lesson on that? So we'll be going over that, but one of the exciting things is I'm going to be sharing tonight is our next block in our 250th anniversary quilt that we are working on. This is exclusive to Quilt Circle, so if you want to get in on it, you'll need to join the membership after Thanksgiving and you'll be able to catch up on the 2 blocks. But I'm going to show you the block even before they get to see it, because you won't see this till Wednesday, which is now. Is it that whole Back to the Future kind of thing? You know, however that works. Anyway, this month we are doing a wild goose chase block. Now I have created all of this quilt in EQ8. Now member Elaine, she is a member of Quilt Circle, a great friend, and she is the one that kind of put the whole quilt idea together. She's the one that came to me first and said, hey, what do you think about doing something in Quilt Circle for this? And I asked her if she could put together some sort of a plan for us, and she came up with a design for the quilt. And then I took what she had developed and put it into EQ8, did all the blocks and kind of tweaked a few things here and there, was able to color it. So this is a mystery, so the rest of Quilt Circle doesn't know. It's just Elaine and I, what the quilt looks like. But I did do all of this in EQ8, and EQ8 is a great program for something like this. This is something brand new. I'm not a quilt designer, anything like that. Maybe in the future that might be something, but right now I just do my own projects in there. I've done things throughout the years. I've done laid out t-shirt quilts in EQ8 and other things, but I put this in EQ8 so that I could get the size of the blocks. It also was able to then generate fabric requirements for me. Now EQ8 does not write your pattern for you, but it gives you the sizes of the blocks. It will print out foundation paper if you want that. It'll print out rotary cutting guides, you know, like telling you the piecing size. Now I don't always go by that, but at least I've got the quilt in there. I can tell the size, I can tell fabric requirements, and then able to share those with others that I'm working on this, and just able to move things around, color things in different ways. So I have really enjoyed EQ8, and EQ8 has a great special going on right now. It's called Black Friday Special. Everything, let me just look real quick, because I did receive a letter from them. It says customers can save 25% off of all products on electricquilt.com with the code Black Friday, and I have linked an affiliate link down below. If you click on that, that will take you straight to EQ8. You can check out the offerings there, and then when you're checking out, put in Black Friday, and that will give you 25% off. That is from now until December 1st, so the rest of November, but December 1st, which is a Monday, it will be done. So you'll want to get in on that. Electric Quilt, it's a great program. If you're working on fabrics, you know, you've been quilting for a while and you're just excited to kind of tweak some, maybe design your own. Maybe you've got a new baby, new grandbaby, and you're wanting to make a quilt and just kind of, you know, design something special for yourself and for them. It'd be a great thing to do. So check out that link down below and go get yourself EQ8 for the holidays maybe. So I did create all of this in EQ8, and I'm going to show you my blocks. These are the Wild Goose Chase blocks, and that's what EQ8 called them. They're flying geese units put together in a grouping of 3 in red, white, and blue. Now I am using American Gatherings 2 from Primitive Gatherings. That line is just about sold out. I can find it in a few places, but her newest one, American Gatherings 3, is coming out soon. That's Lisa Bonjean, and very similar fabrics, but I love the darker colors of this. I love the darker reds and the darker blues. These were all scraps that I used when Quilt Circle did a quilt along last year. What was the name of that one? It was a Cori Yoder pattern. I'll link it down below. And I did all of mine in, oh my goodness, it's on the edge of my tongue. I did all of mine in this same fabric line. So I had a lot of this left over, and that's why I decided to use this for this quilt along that we're doing. I've encouraged members to use their stash. This is a great quilt to be doing that, to use red, white, and blues from your stash, and then to pick a background print. Mine is a gray, and I've encouraged them to do either gray or a light blue, something like that. So these are flying geese units, red, white, and blue, and I've done mine all scrappy. So the quilt is a row-along quilt, so we're making 1 set of blocks each month, and then we'll put those into a row of the quilt, and I'm super excited about that. That's so fun. Now, I also wanted to share, I've talked about this many times too, but when I am making my flying geese units, like this, I have layered my square on top of my rectangle. I have stitched across that diagonal, and then I've taken a second stitch just inside of that, and then I will trim that piece off, just like this. So here's one from a different block that I had trimmed off. So if you can imagine, that was right there. I trimmed this piece off, and then when I do that, then this side will end up looking like this side. So you don't have 3 layers of fabric there, you just have 1. And what I like though, I do not trim mine back until I press it back. When this rectangle I know is perfectly square. I cut it, and so when I press this fabric back, I do not remove this until I press that back, because I know if I press this corner straight onto that gray corner, then I know it's perfectly straight. And so then I will trim off these back fabrics afterwards. That means you are left with all of these half square triangles. I went ahead and put a couple of them together. Now the size of this, when I trimmed these off, I was not able to get a 2-inch square. I was only able to get a 1.5-inch square. If I would done my stitching line a little closer, perhaps I could have gotten a 2-inch. But when I was doing this, it just did to 1.5. So these half square triangle units are 1.5 inches, and then I put them together in a little pinwheel. You could do them all in blue, you could do them all in red, but I did mine reds and blues. I thought that was really cute. So I've got lots of those to do. That's just a bonus. Maybe I'll put those on the back of the quilt or something like that. But flying geese units, Wild Goose Chase, when I put 3 of them together and it's done in the red, white, and blue, I am super excited for that block this month and to share that with Quilt Circle tonight. They'll receive all of the instructions, all of the fabric requirements, and the instructions for that. So if you are interested in joining us for our 250th Quilt Along, you'll want to join Quilt Circle at the end of this month. Also, this weekend is the weekend that Fat Quarter Shop has designated as Scrappy Americana weekend. Not really, but the Quilt Along that they are running right now. Each month, they have a day that's set aside to do the blocks for Scrappy Americana. And so this Saturday is that day. Scrappy Americana is a quilt by Lori Holt. This measures 65 by 105. That makes it very unique because the 65 is the length and the 105 is the width, just like a flag. But that's very unique for a quilt. So this will be fun. I've got a huge wall on that side of my studio to put this on, so I'm excited about that as well. So one block each month, and you're making 12 blocks. This month just happens to be flying geese units. And I gave you a hint of this after my Quilt Circle retreat a couple weeks ago. I showed that I had gotten a head start on these, and I don't quite have them all finished, but I will show you the blocks this month. They are called mini, M-I-N-I, flying geese stripe blocks. And the other day, or a couple weeks ago when I showed these to you, okay, now I lost them. I just showed you the back side of them. So today I will show you the block. So again, these reds are very similar because they are going to create one of the stripes in the quilt. And the same thing with the cream color. They are very similar in colorways because you want this all to appear red from a distance. So you can see just the tiny little difference. This one has, the background is the darker red and the lighter is the pinkish color red. This one, the lighter is the background, and then the smaller squares on the sides are the darker red. Putting 4 of those together and then stitching those together to form one block. So those are the red ones, mini flying geese. These took a while because those are small little ones. So there's red ones. I have a couple more done that still need to be pressed. So there are 6 red and 6 white. The white ones, I don't think I have any of these sewn together, do I? I think these are all still separate. So let me show you what those look like. Very cute. And then this is the other one. So these will go together like this to make one block, and they will make 6 of these, and then that's it for November. And so this goes on. I don't think I brought the schedule with me. I'm kind of working out of 2 places still. Every day that we come, I'm loading up more things to bring here, but sometimes I get caught in, oh, I need that, and it's back there, it's back at the house, and eventually I'll get it all worked out. I am not moving all of my personal sewing stuff here because I want that at home. So when I'm home on the weekends, I can be working on my own personal projects, my quilting things. So I'm not moving all of that here. So it's kind of a trick sometimes to remember what I need to bring if I'm filming to show you that I've been working on. So the schedule for this is back home. I could look at it on my computer, but I didn't do that. So November is the mini flying geese units. Now I'm doing traditional piecing, just like I showed you with the 250th anniversary quilt that I'm working on. I made those flying geese the same way by putting the square on the edge of the rectangle and stitching across. There are other ways to make them. You can do foundation paper, which this booklet does tell you. Foundation paper gives instructions for that. There's also the way of making 4 flying geese units at a time. I did not learn that way, so that I've done it once, and I don't know. Not that it's hard, it's just different. And so I've always done them this way, and this way works for me, so I just continue to do this. And I love that about quilting, is that we're developing different ways. Something doesn't make quite sense to you, try a different way. It's not like one's wrong and one's right. This is find what works for you and what helps you to get perfect blocks and go with it. I think it's great. So foundation paper, or the four flying geese units at a time. There are some cheat sheets on Fat Quarter Shop that will give you, if you want this size of block, then you need to cut your squares this size. There are other cheat sheets online for the 4 at a time. Just put in flying geese units 4 at a time and you'll see all different kinds of tutorials pop up. So whatever is easiest for you. The next blocks for December will be square and a square. Those could also be done with foundation paper, which is what we just got in the Sew Sampler box last week that I shared. So I am really enjoying. I know it's fall time. I know Christmas is just around the corner, but I'm enjoying the Americana stuff and just thinking about the historic event that's happening next July with the 250th anniversary. Like I mentioned before, most of us are not going to see the next 50th anniversary of that. So the 300th. I don't even know what that one's called, the 300th. But most of us are not even going to see that one. So this is a big deal, and just leading up to it and making something commemorative for it. And so I'm enjoying working on these patriotic projects. It has been beautiful weather here in Indiana, beautiful trees. I have been snapping some photos as we've been driving down because the quilt house is a little further south than home, and beautiful drive, and so it's got lots of trees that line the road along the way. So I've been snapping photos every couple days and even stopping and taking pictures, and Steven's like, what are you doing? Don't worry, I'm just taking pictures. But I do plan on sharing some of those in my newsletter this weekend. So if you want to see some of the Indiana fall weather, then you'll want to see my newsletter that comes out each weekend called In, On, and Around. And this time I'm sharing around the farmhouse all the pretty colors that are happening. They won't be on there very much longer. The leaves are falling quickly, but I even noticed today driving down that even driving and you got the leaves just falling down. Oh, it's so picturesque. It's just beautiful. So I am enjoying the fall weather. I'm excited for Thanksgiving. All the family will be together for Thanksgiving. Maggie will be home, and I think everybody else is going to be around, so we'll have a fun Thanksgiving. It's not too far away. But after Thanksgiving, Quilt Circle opens up. So if you want to be a part of that, you can put your name on the wait list. There is a link down below. That just ensures that you receive those emails on that Friday right after Thanksgiving so that you can join right away if you're interested. All right, I have lots of customer quilts to share today. I have 3 quilts from Becky, and 2 of them are Christmas and 1 of them is Halloween. We'll start with the Christmas ones. Now this is a house pattern that is called Ghost Town. So I know many years ago I quilted one for Becky that was done in Halloween fabrics, and so now she's decided to do a Christmas one. But the pattern is called Ghost Town. This is what the front of it looks like. The designer of this is Dana Bolyard of Old Red Barn Company at Old Red Barn Company, or CO. And so I have put a link down below where you can purchase the pattern. It says it's 10 blocks. The finished quilt is 70 by 84, 30 blocks. Oh, they are 10-inch blocks, my apologies. 10-inch blocks. The quilt finishes at 70 by 84. And 30 blocks, set 5 across and 6 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and depending on how large you make your border around the outside edge, you could make it even larger than that. It says it does have 2-inch sashing and sashing squares, and then it says a 4-inch border is what the pattern says. Becky has done the same size border as she did for the sashing, so still a 2-inch border. All of her cornerstones are this brown polka dot print that is very cute. Her whole kind of theme of this is gingerbread, and I'll show you why that in a second. And that's kind of what this brown polka dot reminds me of, is kind of a gingerbread cookie, maybe with sprinkles or something on top. So you can see how she's done all the novelty fabrics. All the houses are the same. There are 5 windows and 1 door. She's done some fun prints for the roof, and then some other coordinating fabrics for the 2 chimneys on each tree. Now some of them she has fussy cut. You can see the snowman in the door here. Notice this one has the Christmas animals in all of the windows. This one has green houndstooth fabric and then stockings in the doorway. Some very cute ones. Here's like a strawberry shortcake type of house with the strawberries. I love her choices of roofs. I love how she's combined different fabrics together. Not all of them are Christmas. Some are, but not all. She's got some fruity type of fabric in this one with pink and green house. Very cute. Down below there are some toy soldiers, all different fabrics. Very, very fun. So 10-inch blocks, 30 houses. You can make this as large or as small as you want, just depending on how many houses you want to do. Great use of novelty fabrics, and makes just a super cute quilt. Let me flip this over and I'll show you the back. And this is why I say it kind of has a gingerbread house type of feel, kind of theme to it. On the back, she has done Gingerbread Men blocks to use as a pieced backing. So there's a larger fabric across the top, a pieced one in the middle. She has done 3 gingerbread. So this one is the same fabric, that brown polka dot that was on the front. She's added some wide rickrack for the Gingerbread Men. And then here's a second one with a green, and then a third one at the very bottom with white rickrack. And then she's added some other novelty fabrics just to fill in the pieced part, and then that wide brown polka dot at the very bottom. And so a great theme to this quilt. So the gingerbread here does come from one of Lori Holt's books. This is her vintage Christmas book. And the block in here is called Mr. Cookie Block. It does come in 6-inch or 12-inch sizes. And Becky has done the 12-inch size. She's kept all the fabrics the same in one gingerbread, just added the rickrack. It's not a hard block to make. And this one finishes at 10 inches. Now Lori does add some eyes and some buttons on there, and maybe Becky will do that once she gets the quilt back. But at least for long arm quilting, we can't have those buttons. You could embroider some little eyes on there. That wouldn't be a difficult one to go over, but buttons, for an all-over pantograph design, there cannot be any buttons or embellishments, kind of like that. So because the machine, it's following its path and it doesn't know that there might be a button in the way. I don't do any custom type of quilting. There are those out there that do it, and it's very, very beautiful. I do edge-to-edge digital designs, so no buttons on the backing or the front, please. That would not be a good thing. Some of the fabrics here are some Gingerbread Men as well. Now, I took my inspiration for the pantograph from those Gingerbread Men. Becky said whatever I wanted to do, and so I decided to go with the gingerbread theme. So let me show you the pantograph. This is called, let me find the name of it. It is called Gingerbread Man, and this is by So Shabby Pantographs, So Shabby Quilting, and this is what the pantograph looks like. I like the swirl of this one. There are some other Gingerbread Men that were more straight line. I want to say like lined up in a row, almost like toy soldiers. And I like the more meandering feel of this one for this quilt. I did. And so large bubbles in there, some swirls, and then the Gingerbread Men that look exactly like the blocks that she put on the back. So I thought that was super cute. And let me pull it in so you can see it. I did use Omni natural white thread. So I'm not sure how well you can see. The quilting is very secondary on this one. You're seeing the houses and all of the beautiful fabrics. And then the pantograph is just an extra once you get in close, and then you're kind of like, oh, it's a surprise. Oh, look, it's Gingerbread Men in the pantograph. So Omni white thread, it blends super nice in there. You don't even see any, it doesn't stand out at all. It is just a total secondary design, but a great way to complement the theme of the quilt, pulling those inspirations. And a lot of times I do that. Sometimes it's the fabric itself that gives me an inspiration. Maybe it's something in the fabric. Sometimes it's a block, and like that's what I did with this one. Didn't do houses. I did kind of think about doing like a bubble clam type of thing, but I thought that didn't feel quite Christmassy. It felt a little more summery, I guess. And so really pulled the inspiration from those blocks on the back that had the Gingerbread Men, and that's where I pulled the inspiration for the pantograph. So a beautiful, fun quilt, a great use of all those novelty fabrics. How fun would this be for the grandkids at Christmas time? So beautiful job, Becky. Becky's second quilt is a trip around the world quilt. That's what the pattern traditionally is called. This is actually a tutorial on woodberryway.com, and it is called Gooseberry Scrappy Trip Quilt. And it's a tutorial, totally free. You can go and see how she has put this whole thing together. So Becky has used scraps from her stash or novelty fabrics again from her stash, all in a Christmas theme. Now again, several years ago I did a quilt. I quilted a quilt for Becky just like this, but was done all in the orange and blacks. She actually sent me a picture of it. And so you can go back. This was like 2023, maybe September 2023, and it was done in all Halloween fabrics, oranges and blacks and whites, and it was very pretty. You can go back to either YouTube at that time or Instagram at that time, probably September of 2023, to see that quilt, but the exact same pattern, but now she's done it in Christmas fabrics. These are 2.5-inch squares is what it looks like. Maybe they were cut at 3 and finished at 2.5. Maybe I didn't look at the tutorial that closely. So you're creating the trip around the world, and I love to pull back from this because when you're in close, you're just seeing all the squares. When you pull back from this, especially looking at the bigger picture, you can see that pattern emerge where the white is kind of defining your diamond shape, and then you're creating that by, you have here, where can I see, here's green, red, green again, and she's just continuing those rows. Now to do this one, it has to be laid out. You're actually piecing it in rows from what I understand, but it's in the layout. So a huge design wall, a large bed, a huge area on your floor where you can lay all of this out, piece it out in rows, and then you get that design once you pull back and see it. So a great fabric and a great quilt, a great stash buster in whatever theme you want it to be as well. Let me flip this over so you can see her backing. And her backing is a large Santa panel. If you're not sure how to use those panels, this is a great use for them. Add extra fabric around it on all your sides, make it plenty big so that your quilt top can fit in on there. And then I can center it so that your panel is in the center of their backing. So just a large Santa panel. It says St. Nicholas, December 25th, in care of elves at Santa's workshop. Super cute. She has added some candy stripe on either side, and then it's just green prints. The same green houndstooth on either side, and then the same green stripe at the top and the bottom. Made it plenty large. I'm able then to center the quilt top onto that, and you almost have a second quilt, you know, from the backing. A great use of your panels. And don't be afraid that, you know, my panel's only this big. Add this fabric. Look how cute this is by just adding large amounts of fabric around the outside edge, and then it makes a great backing for a quilt. The pantograph on this one is called Ribbon. You may be able to see it better on the back. And I do have a printout to show you in just a second. This is called Ribbon Candy. I thought that was perfect for Christmas time. Ribbon candy, you see, you know, that's kind of your old time type of candy. Ribbon candy, and this is called Ribbon Candy Pearls because it does have a little circle hidden inside of that ribbon candy. So a great pantograph. First time I've ever used this one. I really like it for a Christmas themed quilt, and I did have a printout to show you. Here it is. This is by My Creative Stitches. Now, I did see this on Urban Elements, but it's not available as a PDF or as a digital download on Urban Elements, only as a paper pantograph. So if you're doing paper pantographs where you're following it with your red eye, the laser, then you'd be able to get it off of Urban Elements. But otherwise, you'll need to go to My Creative Stitches and get it as a digital download for your Longarm. So Ribbon Candy Pearls is super cute. It's just a really cute design for Christmas. It doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas because the name says Ribbon Candy. You kind of think Christmas, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a Christmas pantograph. Just adds lots of nice texture. Again, on the front, as busy as those fabrics are on the front, you're not seeing the pantograph. It's very secondary. I did use Omni Natural White thread. The quilt is bright, it's fresh, snowy, you know, Christmassy type of feel. And so perhaps a mint green would have looked good as well if you're one that likes color. Otherwise, I just did the natural white thread. It blends perfectly with all those bright colors. Again, a great use of novelty fabrics. You can make it large or as small as you want. Becky's quilt finishes at 64 by 80, and just a beautiful quilt. And Becky's third quilt is a Halloween quilt. This one is called the Ghost Quilt. And this is done, it says it's the Modern Holiday Quilt Collection put together by Then Came June and Pen and Paper Patterns. So maybe a combination of the two went together for the Modern Holiday Quilt Collection. This is called the Ghost Quilt. I have linked this down below. It says it's number 3 of 4. I did not look to see what the others in the collection were, but you might want to check that out. Finishes at this, the pattern says 62 by 64. That would be 5 blocks across and 5 down to make a square quilt. Becky made hers rectangular. Hers finished at 62 by 77. So she did do the 5 ghost across, but did 6 down to make it a rectangular quilt. The fabric line, I don't know if she did a specific line. I do not have that information, but it's grays and oranges. And even, a few of them are Halloween, where this one has spider webs. There's one up there that has skeletons on it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Halloween fabric. It could just be oranges and grays and blacks. A couple of them have some moons on them, but it really doesn't have to be. Others are just checked and plaid. Some gray solids, and very cute. It looks like all of the eyes and the mouths are all a black solid. And then all the background print, this is a white solid as well. So notice that the ghosts are offset. They are not just done in a grid, where it is a grid fashion, they are offset just a little bit. So makes a cute quilt. Now the pattern here shows white ghost with, it looks like to me all of the background of the blocks and the sashing is all done in a gray. And notice how Becky has done hers a little bit different. She set the ghost on either the orange or the black or a gray, and then did her sashing in the white. A great adaptation to the pattern. Really, really cute. Her backing fabric on this one is just a gray. This looks like one of the Kimberbell gray stripes, not stripes, swirls. And I'll get that information for sure and link that down below. But it does look like one of Kimberbell's lines, one of their swirl ones. Great, great use of that one on the back. So for the pantograph, again, Becky said it was up to me. I could do what I wanted. And I chose spider webs. This is called the Haunted Web, I believe is the name of this pantograph, Haunted Web. And I did it in a light gray color. And the reason is, could have done white and it would have blended in nicely, but I felt the tone of this quilt is just a little dimmer. It's more a Halloween, which is nighttime, is what I'm thinking. And I just felt that the tone of this quilt was a little duller. So a bright white would have kept it fresh and bright, and I didn't feel that this quilt needed that. So I went with a light gray thread. From a distance, it all blends in. You really don't even see it. When you get up close, you notice the spider webs, but how true is that? You're walking through a house and what just hit me in the face? We don't see them right away, but when you get up close, you see them. And I think that was a great use of the light gray thread on this one. You can see that haunted web. Here is one spider web. It does do it in a zigzag fashion, so this one, and then the others nest up nicely. The points don't match up exactly, so I did not close this all the way where this point would touch the one above it because it's not designed that way. It is designed to have a little bit of space between it, but you can see where the connection is. Here, this one stitches out, and here's the connection, stitches this one, and then it connects to the next one, so it does a little bit of a zigzag. And then the other lines, the other rows can nest up nicely. So that is Haunted Web on the Ghost quilt. Very cute, very cute. Becky, you did a great job. I love all three. I have 3 quilts from Wendy, and oh my goodness, her detail, her applique is absolutely gorgeous. This first one is called California. This is a laundry basket quilt kit, and this version has an applique border all the way around the outside edge. This is using Super Bloom, which is also laundry basket quilt fabrics. Now there also is a second version of this quilt that is called English Garden. That one does not have the applique around the outside edge. So the entire center that you're seeing here is all pieced. The fabrics are gorgeous. They are the deep blues, the lighter blues, the pinks, the mauves, the large florals, some tan in there. It's absolutely gorgeous. All of the background print you see, those are all different fabrics from that line. So nothing solid. You have just softer pastels, softer white backgrounds or cream color backgrounds. I actually used Omni Cream thread with this one. I felt the cream blended better than a very bright white. This is a softer palette, a very soothing, comforting palette, and so I felt that the Omni Cream worked much better. Let me pull in the applique around the edges. So the applique around the edges starts in the corner on each one of the rows. So I'm going to show you the bottom. It starts on the corner and goes across and ends about 3/4 of the way across the sashing. Then you get to the next corner and it starts in the corner again and goes that direction. So you get up into the top left corner, it starts in the corner and goes that direction and stops about 3/4 of the way, 2/3 of the way across the quilt. And then that applique starts in the top right corner and comes down, and you can see the very end of it there. Beautiful applique. The vine or the branch part, the main branch of this is a dark blue, and then the leaves are done in the lighter blues, the berries done in just the rich crimson color. Then Wendy has done applique. These look like a lot of times laundry basket, she has where you can buy these already cut, and I'm wondering if that's not the case. They're very thin. It doesn't feel like Lori Holt's applique where you've got a thicker interfacing on the other side. So I'm assuming they're either sticky on the back already, how they were cut, or you've gotten the pieces and you're just laying them and then stitching over them, but it doesn't feel that there's like a whole lot of interfacing inside of there. So very thin. The edges are all zigzag. She did change colors. So around the dark blues, there's all dark blue. Around the pink, there's pink. Around the brown, there's brown. The rich crimson, it's done in a rich crimson color. So she has spent some time doing all the applique. It's very beautiful. It's not a very heavy zigzag stitch where the stitches are really close together. It's a nice, maybe I can pull it in and so you can see. It's a nice zigzag all around, and with the colors being the same, it may be even hard, but she's done a very nice job of keeping her zigzag right on the edge of the applique and blending those colors very nicely. Isn't that such a rich picture, rich design there? The backing fabric or the sashing that it is done on, the border that it is done on, is a background print that's white, and you can just see the light blue, very pretty. The light blue artwork on top of that, just beautiful. On the background, or on the backing fabric, she has used a very large floral. I do believe this is from that same Super Bloom line, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe that. The lighter blue and then with the darker blue artwork on top. Very pretty. This quilt measures 80 by 80, a nice size. And so those borders are probably 8-inch borders, maybe 10-inch borders. So without that, the quilt may be a 72 or a 70-inch square, something like that. The pantograph that she asked for on this one is espresso. So the same type of flowy design, very complementary to the fabrics and the feel of this quilt. And I'll pull this in, you can see espresso, very tight swirl. It does flip on itself, meaning it crosses over its lines as it's spinning out, and that makes that ribbon effect. Tight swirls, tight points to the swirls, and a very ribbon soft effect. Beautiful pantograph for really any of Laundry Basket Quilts patterns, fabrics. They complement each other very, very well. Oh, I cannot get over it. Such a beautiful quilt. Such very nice. Kind of done in a medallion type of, where you've got the center, and again, Laundry Basket does that on a lot of her quilts. You have the center, and then everything is mirror image. You know, it's the same all the way around. So you're starting with the center, and then you've got the same design all the way around. Beautiful, beautiful, Wendy. I absolutely love it. And if you weren't in awe over the first one, you will be with this one. This is Wendy's quilt also. This one is the pattern called Homewardbound. This is done by Fielke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Fielke. She said it was the Quilt Show Block of the Month from 2023. Again, full of applique. These are all Tula pink fabrics, so you do have some solids, but then you also have the prints. Here's the dots. You've got some of her wild animal, maybe that's just on the back, some of the animal ones, but all applique. Notice we start with a center medallion. There's a small house here in the center. All of the background fabric is this white with the confetti type of squares on it. Very colorful. Then again, everything outside of that is I'm not getting the word, you know, where it's the same all the way around. Thank you. You know what I'm saying. So tight applique, again, very small. These look like yo-yos. I don't know if they were done in a yo-yo fashion. They do feel a little thicker, so that's why I'm thinking they might be a yo-yo, or there's at least some foundation underneath that, some interfacing or something to make those pop up a little bit, but you've got circles on top of circles. The leaves are done in a very bright green print that has lots of other colors on top of it. Notice there's a combination of flying geese units, or those more like half square triangle units, even smaller ones, and then we have some applique down there at the end. The birds that are appliqued on the center part of the quilt, on all four corners of that. Here's some of that Ladybug fabric, and that's what's used on the back. And then notice as we're doing the borders, oh my goodness, let me just get behind it here. So the borders, now we have hearts, we have those same houses repeated, we have the half square triangles, here's the houses, see the houses all along the border. The corners have the stars. These are beautiful. We've got some applique, and then the whole piano key border, but notice that it's all in different sizes. Oh my goodness, and then it's like it goes above each one of the houses. It is a gorgeous quilt. Gorgeous. You could spend all day looking at different parts of this one. The backing fabric, this is a Tula pink wide backing. This is the Ladybugs. And I did try to center this so that I had similar colors at the top and the bottom. I didn't want to start it at one end of that wide backing and have all the reds or whatever at one end and then end with greens. I really tried to center it so that it had some of the colors at either end were very similar, if that makes sense. Okay, beautiful. I can't even imagine. Look at the flowers here. It's just beautiful. This one measures 70 by 70. Now this pattern is available. It is a 114-page booklet. It's a full pattern, and that also includes video instruction on how to do it. This is the 2023 Quilt Show Block of the Month. It's broken into chapters, 70 inches square. It says this quilt is a combination of needle turn applique and machine piecing, Applique templates will be suitable for hand or machine applique. And again, Wendy has done all machine applique. She has done the zigzag stitch. And again, she has changed colors around each one of these to complement the applique. Instruction will only, so it says, applique templates will be suitable for hand or machine applique, but the instruction will only be given for hand applique. So a great thing if you're wanting to learn hand applique, this may be the perfect one. Every step of your journey through the quilt is explained, and all the techniques are taught via video lesson tutorials. Hope you enjoy your walk through Homeward Bound. Once you've purchased the book, you'll receive an email within 24 hours that confirms you have access to the videos. The book size is an 8 by 10, 114 pages, and I've linked that down below for you. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. It is, that may be a block of the month. It would take a whole year, I think. It's just beautiful. The pantograph on this one that Wendy asked for is called Whisper. And great choice on this one. This one I did use Omni natural white thread. The quilt is bright. It's and a cream color would have dimmed that. So a bright white just keeps it very, very playful and fun. Maybe I'll just show you Whisper on the back. Maybe you can see that a little bit better. So Whisper has nice big spirals. They do come to a point, but they're very open. So as it comes in and does a spiral, it comes very far out, where Espresso doesn't. The lines are very close together. On the back of that spiral, there is a nice feather design. Again, very chunky, very playful. And then it does a couple of bubbles, a little larger, a little smaller, and then it spins and does the next spiral with the feather on the back of it. Very fun pantograph. Very cute. Oh, I just love it. I love this. So, you know, more bright and more playful than the laundry basket quilt, but just equally as beautiful. And her handwork or her machine work in doing all the applique is just gorgeous. Wendy, I am in awe. Very nice job. Wendy's third quilt is so cute. This is a Christmas quilt. This is Will You Be My Neighbor. This was run by Pat Sloan. This is totally free. I've linked it down below. This it gives you all the different blocks. She has done it just the way Pat Sloan did it, using fabric from Juniper Berry, which is BasicGrey, and also Northwoods by Kate Spain. The background fabric that you see is white with the black polka dot. It's so cute. All of the houses on this quilt are different. So you have smaller ones, you have larger ones, and you'll have to go back and see the bigger picture so you can see all of them. This one almost reminds me of like a train station. There are some birds that are appliqued on top of some of the trees, or on top of some of the houses. She has fussy cut some windows in some of them, so there you've got some, maybe not a train station. I mean, I guess I think train because this kind of makes me look train. And I don't know what Pat Sloan called it. She probably has a name for it, I'm sure. But maybe it's Santa's workshop there. The trees that are layered with the different greens. We have pinwheel designs inside of this house. At the very top, I love this heart in that house right there. And then at the very top, we have some more. The mailbox. Look at the mailbox, so cute. And the heart on this one, there's another bear or another bird on top. Here's some fussy cut winter forest scenes in this house here. Down at the very bottom, pull this one in so you can see. This one is almost like there's a sailboat, like it's docking in at that one. Oh my goodness, it's just so pretty. This quilt measures 63 by 80, and her backing fabric is a Christmas, I'll see if I think I have the selvage, so I'll look and see what this one is called. But it's red with the cream color printing on it. Santa Claus, stop here, warm cookies and milk, fresh cocoa. Very pretty on that one as well. The pantograph on this one, it may be hard to see either on the front or the back. It really blends in nicely. This is called Mistletoe, And mistletoe is another very tight, very similar in some ways to espresso. A few more, you can see it on this house, very similar to espresso, except again it tight swirls, it does crossover on itself some, but it does have a little bit more paisleys where espresso doesn't really have paisleys. And so here you have a paisley or feather and a little bit of a spiral paisley on the back of that one. So very similar, but as it comes out, it's doing just a little bit more paisley on top of there. So just a little bit different design, but very similar to espresso. And the pattern says mistletoe, so you might as well use it on a Christmas quilt. Very pretty. The applique, again, that she has done, not as much applique on this one as in her last two quilts, but the bird is appliqued. She has done that tiny zigzag stitch around, but all the house blocks you're seeing are pieced. The heart is appliqued, but the windows, the birdhouse is pieced except for the little doorway on the front of it. So it's really just a few blocks here and there that have some applique on it, so much more doable than the last two. But I love the fabrics, very fun. Again, just a fun Christmas quilt. Wendy, I am so in awe of your work. I just really, really like all three of your quilts. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found some inspiration, some fabrics, some quilts, some patterns that you would like to work on yourself. I hope you find lots of good time to quilt this weekend, and I will be back here next week because every quilt is worth finishing. We'll see you then.